Good morning. Today I'm doing the revision. Subject, food science. Topic, unit number 9, flavors. Now, what do you mean by flavor? It is the distinct taste of a food or a drink is known as flavor. So let's talk about flavors in detail. So talking about the flavors, generally a flavor can be fruity or it can be floral, spicy, nutty, caramelized, roasted. So you have good flavors like this, and you can say rotten flavor, rancid flavor, stale and fishy flavor, which are the bad flavors. So talk about the good flavors. We will be talking about these flavors in detail. So we'll be discussing about taste, odor, and mouthfeel. Talking about the taste, as you can see in this PPT, taste buds generally is sweet, salty, sour, bitter, and umami. So whenever the moment you taste the food, automatically the front part is salty at the tip, next to it is sweet. Then your tongue will detect whether it is sour or bitter. So talk about the next one is odor. As you can see, the chef checking the odor of the food. So odor in our body has got a specialized tissue inside the nasal cavity that is involved to understand the odor. Like you are in the college, you are in your class. Sometimes you have a very good odor when you see. I mean, when you can, when you're able to smell that from QTK or BTK kitchen, you understand that they are cooking something special. With the odor, we can understand what are they cooking. So this is about the odor, and the next one is the mouthfeel. Mouthfeel plays a very important role. Whenever you see any advertisement, generally an ice cream advertisement or a chocolate advertisement or a biscuit advertisement, you can understand they are going to show you the crispiness, tenderness, graininess of the product. So by that you understand whether it's a fresh product, how will the product taste. So the moment you're chewing the food, the moment you start chewing the food, you understand the odor, you understand the taste, and you understand the mouthfeel of the product. Next is the description of food flavors. So we'll be talking about these following flavors. First about tea, second is about coffee, third wine, fourth meat, fish and poultry, fifth one is spices. So let's talk about this in detail. So first we'll start with tea. So as you can see, there are different types of tea, and most of the people start their day with the tea or coffee in the mornings. So there is a process, as you can see here in this slide. There is a process, like you have, first you have tea harvesting, then the next step is withering, rolling, screening, baking, then pan frying. These are the 6 steps which they follow during the tea processing. But as you have different flavors of tea, like you have around 450 flavors of tea, we'll do the different kinds of tea. Like take an example of a green tea. So generally green tea is very light, clear and slightly bitter. And here the process involves is steaming of pluck leaf to inactivate the oxidative enzyme. But withering and fermentation is omitted. So here in green tea, you are taking out the withering as well as the fermentation. These 2 steps are omitted in the green tea. That is the reason you have a green tea which is light in color. The next step is we'll be talking about the LOT. So talk about the LOT. Here only fermentation is omitted, whereas the other steps are followed generally. So as we are talking different teas, this is the process like tea harvesting, withering, rolling, screening, baking and pan frying. So this is a tea process. But in green tea, you are avoiding 2 steps, that is fermentation and withering. Whereas in LOT, you are avoiding only fermentation. So based on that, you have different colors of tea. The next one is coffee. Talking about the coffee, it is extracted from crimson fruit and you have 450 different flavors of coffee which is available. As you can see in the picture here, you have black coffee, then you have cappuccino, then you have espresso, etc. As you can see this in the picture. So talk about the coffee harvesting process. First you are growing the coffee beans, then you have harvesting, then you have processing step, then you have milling, shipping, roasting, grinding, packing, brewing, and then you're enjoying the tea. So talk about the next one is the wine. So wine production, I'm not telling about coffee and wine production in detail because already you have this in your F&B service. So wine production, as you can see, uh, wine, which is an alcoholic beverage prepared by fermentation of the grapes. And you can see the process here. You're first harvesting the grape, then you're extracting the juice, then you're fermenting, then pressurizing, then filtration, then it is aging, bottling, and then we are consuming. So this is the wine process in detail. Next is meat, fish, and poultry. So you can see, talking about meat, fish, and poultry, the raw meat has mild aroma, but it contains the pool of compounds, example, glycoprotein and insonic acid, which gives flavor on heating. Same thing goes with the fish. Fish contains proaline amino acid, which is where ribose and glucose contribute to the flavor. When it comes to poultry, chicken is compared to turkey, so you have distinct flavors in chicken. But when you're marinating and adding various other flavors, then it gives you a good taste and flavor to the products. But talking about these flavors, generally we have a primary flavors as well as we have secondary flavors. Primary flavors, which are found in fruits, vegetable, and spices, which is naturally available. Whereas secondary flavors are these flavors which are developed during processing, roasting, boiling, frying, grilling, baking, and fermentation in the food. So for all the products like tea, coffee, meat, fish, poultry, etc., these flavors are developed specifically during roasting. If you remember Maillard reaction, caramelization, then boiling, frying, grilling, baking, fermentation. So these are the secondary flavors, whereas natural flavors are fruits, vegetables, and spices. So let's talk about the next one, that is spices. Spices, these are the natural flavors, which is called as a primary flavors. So talk about the spices. Spices, these are the natural products of vegetables, and these are added in smaller amounts to give in the food for zestiness, tanginess, sourness, etc. There are different kinds of spices, as you can see in the picture, where you have many volatile compounds present in spices, like 113 in cinnamon, 95 in cloves, then 146 in ginger, 122 in the pepper. So these spices which are added in various products, like you are adding cardamom in Indian sweets, cinnamon in cakes and cookies, cloves in sausages, meat, gravies, pickles. Then you're adding dill in pickles. Then you're adding nutmeg in puddings and fruit pies, pepper in sandwich, salad, and curries, saffron in Indian desserts, turmeric, curry powder, vanilla extract in cakes and ice cream. So you have in textbook page number 108, 9.2 table, you have all the various spices which are discussed in detail. So this is a very short revision of the unit flavor. So very quickly, I would like to recap from the beginning. So talking about the flavors, flavor plays a very important role in our day-to-day life, where flavors which tells us the taste, odor, and mouthfeel of the product. Taste, our tongue, the moment you taste any product, our tongue is able to identify whether the product is sweet, salty, sour, bitter, or mild. Then odor, which will tell us how is the odor, good odor or bad odor, whether it is fruity, spicy, or floral, or whether it is rancid, etc. Now, mouthfeel tells us about the products. How is the product? How is the graininess, texture, crispiness, etc. Then flavors are primary, as well as secondary. Primary flavors includes natural flavors like your vegetable, fruits, and spices. Whereas secondary flavors are something which are added, or it comes during when the product comes in contact with the heat. Specifically, you have during processing like fermentation, or during cooking, grilling, baking, etc. So flavors, let's talk about these flavors in detail, like tea, coffee, wine, and meat, fish, poultry. This comes under secondary flavors as they are developed during cooking process, whereas spices are the natural and primary flavors. So let's talk about this in detail quickly. So tea, these are the 6 steps in the tea, that is tea harvesting, withering, rolling, screening, baking, and pan frying. Where in different kinds of tea, like red tea, you are omitting either baking and pan frying, or in green tea, you are avoiding fermentation and withering. So yellow tea, you are avoiding only fermentation. So you're avoiding these steps to give different color to the tea. Coffee, the different kinds of coffee, and you can see the coffee process starting from growing till the enjoying. It is extracted from the coffee bean, that is crimson seed, and you have 450 different flavors of coffee. Then wine production, starting from harvesting till the consumption, it undergoes extraction, fermentation, filtration, aging, bottling, and consumption. As if you remember, we have done the wine process in our college itself in Little India. We have done grape crushing ceremony. So we have, you have seen this in detail. Practically, you have seen this. So this is about your wine. Meat, fish, poultry. So when these come in contact with the heat, they develop various color depending on the spices which are added to the food. The last is spices, which are natural and primary flavors, are added in different cakes, breads, or curries, or Indian desserts, etc. With this, we have completed the unit flavors. I hope you have enjoyed this session. Thank you.